Good afternoon. Rich Greenberg at the beach again here at the ISSA Los Angeles CISO Forum, private gathering with a lot of high-level security experts here at the Annenberg Beach House in lovely Santa Monica. And we're privileged to have once again joining us from around the world, Ira Winkler. Ira, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Ira always brings unique perspectives on security, educates all of us, and we're delighted that he was able to speak today. Ira, what have you been up to these days?
I'm primarily, my big passion project lately is trying to get across the concept that it sounds like a simple thing, but everybody is focused on the problem of user awareness. They think the problem is that users are not aware. The problem isn't that users are unaware. The problem is that users can take actions that create loss. And that's a very important distinction. Because what that means is, in the first place, you have to understand that users will take an action that creates loss. I mean, I'm all for awareness. I think awareness is a great countermeasure. Unfortunately, at some point, user awareness or users will eventually take an action either because their awareness fails or because they want to be malicious or they just make a mistake. So either way, what we have to do is we have to help people not just address the awareness problem, we also have to address the problem of how do users get put into a position where their actions can potentially create damage. And then if their actions do create damage, either because of lack of awareness, a mistake, or because they're just being malicious, what can we do to mitigate that? How do we detect an action that could lead to loss? And then once we get to that point, how do we then mitigate that action? And how do we put an architecture in place proactively? So again, how do we create the environment, number one? How do we get across to the users that here's what they should be doing specifically as part of their job to take appropriate actions and how to do their job right? And then after that point, how do we work with the organization to say, hey, this is what we have to do to assume that at some point the user is going to take an action that might be harmful, and here's again how to detect it and how to mitigate that.
Yeah. And yeah, I think you've hit it on the head. Too many awareness programs are in a vacuum and aren't integrated into the technical solutions that we get and into the process, and don't involve the buy-in enough of upper management, and that's a key.
Yeah, I think what has to happen is I advocate somebody creating the position of a human security officer, where a human security officer is responsible not just for awareness, but also for overseeing the governance and processes into how does a user get involved in the process in the first place? How do they define what the user is supposed to do within that process? Actually, very specifically, much more specifically than they want to. And then how to oversee, again, the results of an action that's outside of what is defined. Great. I'm not going to say what's expected, because you have to expect they will do something that is undefined, right. But how do they do that properly?
Great. So let me ask you, as you travel the world and speak everywhere, you're selective of where you decide to go. Why do you come here to LA? And we're really, really fortunate that you like to come back here quite a bit.
Well, hate to say it, but usually in LA I expect better weather. But
oh, this is nice.
Well, let's just say I expect a nice breeze, but with a little bit more sunshine is the typical thing. But I also like good crowds, and I know you always get the good crowds. I also expect to learn from the other speakers, and frankly, you don't usually get events where, you have a level of keynote speakers that can learn from each other that you do typically do at this event.
Yeah, we put a lot of pride into our speaker lineup. And that noise in the background is the tents being set up for our summit, which starts tomorrow, where we'll have like 500 InfoSec professionals sharing and attending 4 concurrent tracks. And the vendors get really great treatment down here too. And we have a party by the pool, so it's a great event. So we're happy you're here, and we hope that whoever is watching this will join us on a regular basis as well. That's it from the beach. See ya.